disappointed. I'm probably gutted. I'm something has to change, but I don't know who knew what. I'm thinking, why doesn't it just come out there then? You know, I knew, and I'm hearing everybody else is saying they've only just found out. It's breaking news.
Made of him.
The drug cheat. Is that a fight you'd entertain? No, definitely. At no point, no.
They've done him a raw deal, I think. But I say it as I'm truthful. They should have had more brains. It was a fucking pathetic move.
Tested positive after traces of cocaine were discovered as a result of a routine test that was given to the voluntary anti-doping agency. It's understood that the anti-doping data on the day of the fight.
The boxing world is still stunned after Conor Benn's win over Chris Eubank Jr., and many critics are calling it outrageous. To them, it didn't look like a victory built on skill alone, but a performance powered by what they believe could be chemically enhanced strength, speed, and endurance. Eubank seemed outmatched from the opening bell, and some viewers joked that the fight looked less like boxing and more like a scientific experiment, playing out in real time.
The Conor failed a drug test. That is a fact. It's not been denied anywhere. You know, there's lots of talk about, let's see how this works out, and he's entitled to get his day and so forth. Well, it should be dealt with very quickly, and it can be dealt.
Anthony Joshua isn't holding back either, and why would he? With Ben's. When now surrounded by widespread suspicion, fans are questioning whether this was truly a display of boxing talent. Some say Eubank wasn't outboxed, it was simply overwhelmed by unnatural power and unstoppable energy. According to critics, the result didn't feel like the triumph of skill, but the triumph of chemistry.
That. I think what they want to see is, blood, him get hurt and take him out.
The controversy is only getting louder. Adam Catterall highlights that Conor Benn's test results on fight day raised so many eyebrows that fans can't stop talking. Every punch, every combination, every shot is now being re-examined under a microscope. The victory, which should have been a career highlight, now feels hollow to many, as if the fight was won by lab science instead of courage inside the ring.
In him connected to this, it's even more shocking. You just highlighted there, this is the noises that this is a voluntary anti-doping test that was...
Johnny Nelson cuts through the noise sharply. To him, Ben may have looked bigger, faster, and more explosive, but critics argue that what fans saw was not raw boxing talent, but the possible effect of banned substances. Eubank's defeat is seen by some as less of a boxing loss and more of a painful reminder of what happens when natural ability has to face a performance-enhanced opponent.
I always say, it don't matter what drugs you take. It doesn't make you a better fighter. Might make you stronger, might make you fit. It doesn't make you a better fighter, and that's proof. So until more news comes out, you just got to deal with it.
John Fury doesn't sugarcoat his words to him. This isn't just potential cheating, it's reckless endangerment. If the allegations are true, Fury believes Ben put his opponent at real physical risk, and the idea that anyone could celebrate this victory is laughable. In his eyes, this wasn't a win, it was a breach of the sport's integrity.
At the moment, the British Boxing Board of Control aren't. So we have to speak with them, deal with the legal situation and see where it lands. And this is quite fresh. Obviously, I don't even think it's 30 minutes. I think it's more like 10 or 15 minutes since that. And, we'll see what role.
Duke McKenzie echoes what many lifelong fans are saying. Conor Benn may have not only damaged his own reputation, but also stained the legacy of his legendary father. Nigel Benn fought with heart, spirit, and honor. Critics argue that his son's victory, now tied to doping accusations, lacks the values that once defined the Benn name.
If Conor Benn's been using, ban the fucker. Ban him. Because it's a dangerous sport. Whatever they do and whatever they don't. But I'm having no opinion on it at all. A man's in a...
Carl Frampton takes it a step further. He believes this isn't just about winning or losing, it's about the safety of boxing itself. High-profile athletes carry responsibility, and if the doping allegations stick, Frampton thinks a lifetime ban wouldn't be too harsh. To him and many others, Benn's victory may be one of the most damaging moments for boxing's integrity in recent memory. Dave Coldwell's reaction matches the outrage of millions watching.
It's like a slap in the face for his dad. His dad was an absolute warrior. I remember his dad well fighting, and he was an absolute warrior. And some of the fights he had will go down in boxing history as being some of the most savage fights ever. I don't think his dad ever got done for anything illegal. And to me, it's just wrong.
This isn't a debate about footwork or combinations, it's a question of morality. Even if this was Benn's first failed test, Coldwell believes the optics are terrible. Every punch thrown now looks suspicious. The dominance fans saw in the ring becomes hollow when the possible shadow of looms overhead.
Guys getting caught, and it's just horrible. I genuinely, and I know you without going fucking fully mental here, I just believe if you're caught with any performance-enhancing drug, you should be banned.
Adam Catterall points to the deeper issue. The sport itself may have dropped the ball if voluntary anti-doping protocols aren't taken seriously. Career and life school would be put at risk. Benn's win might have earned him a belt, but critics argue the real loss is the precedent it sets for the future of boxing. Gareth A. Davies then dropped the bombshell: 14 supplements, too many. That sounded less like training and more like a laboratory experiment.
Cheating bastard. Yeah. You know, that's the initial reaction. Whether it's a first fail or a third fail, that's the initial reaction. Your gut reaction is, but then obviously we don't know what he's failed for yet, and we don't know what it is. But then when it's somebody that's failed 3 times, or this is the third adverse reaction.
Fans felt that the fight looked like a science project rather than a fair sporting contest. Critics say it's an insult to every fighter who dedicates years to building their craft naturally and ethically. What could have been a career-defining when has instead turned into a case study in how quickly public respect can crumble. Johnny Nelson makes one final point: even if a fighter uses banned substances, they can never replace the critical elements of the sport: intelligence, timing, adaptability.
Correct. This should not be their decision. The British Boxing Board of Control should be standing up and taking the voluntary anti-doping test seriously. Yes, I know that you work with the UK anti-doping. I know that. But this is a test. He's popped hot. Let's look into it properly. What happens what if something happens on Saturday night?
Absolutely.
What if we've already got to...
I'm just slowly coming up. One of my colleagues, Jeremy Wilson's doing it for the Telegraph. He's the drugs expert or the doping expert on the desk. And I think there was something like 14 supplements.
And the mental edge that separates great fighters from champions. To critics, Benn didn't display mastery, displayed an advantage that didn't come from the gym, but allegedly from the supplement cabinet. Dave Coldwell says it plainly: Conor Benn's reputation is now taking a beating, and no PR spin can fix that overnight. Whether there was one failed test or more, the public perception has already shifted. Fans no longer debate his technique, only whether they can trust what they saw.
Drugs don't make you a better fighter. Drugs may make you a little stronger, may make you a little, give you a bit more energy, but it don't make you technically smart. It doesn't give you all of that. You know, so those drug cheats that do it purposely, you've got to remember, you know, why are you doing it? What difference is it going to make? It's going to make you like a boxing Einstein?
It's fucking hell, cheating bastard. Yeah. You know, that's the initial reaction. Whether it's a first fail or a third fail, that's the initial reaction. Your gut reaction is, but then obviously we don't know what he's failed for yet, and we don't know what it is. But then when it's somebody that's failed 3 times, or this is the third adverse reaction.
Conor is a far better fighter than Chris Eubank Jr is a boxer. Technically, yeah. And that's the problem that Chris Eubank Jr is having. He's got this thing in his mind, he's a masterful boxer. No, you're not. No. I'm sorry, no, you're not.
And that's the real takeaway here. This isn't just about one win or one fighter. It's a warning shot to the entire sport. Boxing deserves skill, courage, and discipline, and not shortcuts, loopholes, and scandal. So now the question goes to you: should Conor Benn face a lifetime ban? If the allegations stick, can his legacy ever fully recover? Drop your thoughts below and let the debate begin.